Good morning. I wanted to share my experience with A-fib. I looked on the internet for one like this, and I didn't find one, so I thought, now that I've gone through it, I'll share my story with you. I had a shoulder surgery probably about 3 months ago, probably 3 months ago now. I got into working on houses, and I was lifting stuff I just shouldn't have been lifting at my age, but anyway, it made a little tear right here. So they went in there and they fixed the spur. But anyway, backing up just a little bit before that surgery, I started checking, I randomly checked my blood pressure because I just turned 70 years old. But I do that just for the heck of it. My father did it, my mama did it, I guess I'll do it too. Anyway, I was checking my blood pressure and I noticed my heart count went up, which, would do that randomly, not very often, but anyway, every time I checked it, the heart count was up. Then I had to go in for this surgery on my shoulder, and while the surgery went well, it really non-invasive. They went through 3 holes in my shoulder. Anyway, before I left, the cardiac nurse or doctor came in there and she says, "Your heart is in afibrillation." And I didn't even know what that was. She said, "It's an irregular heartbeat." She said, we need to set an appointment for you to go see a cardiologist, a heart doctor. So anyway, we left there and did that, went to see a cardiologist. Hey, back up just a little time. 2 days after I had that shoulder surgery, I got COVID. This was the second time around for me. I got COVID, last November, and I got this new version of COVID, which last November it lasted for 10 days, and this new one lasted for 2 days, which was good. They went by that quickly, but I was pretty sick for 2 days, and especially right after the surgery, my heart rate went way up, 120, 130. I generally never go to the emergency room. I told my wife, I says, something's really screwed up. I said, let's go. So I went to the emergency room, and after a little time, they tested me, and I found out, I said, well, your real problem is not your shoulder surgery. Your real problem is COVID. That's what's making everything go haywire right now. So I thought, well, maybe that's the reason I got this afibrillation, is the COVID. I think that didn't help it any for sure. But anyway, a couple weeks later, I went to the heart doctor, tested me again. He said, yeah, you got A-fib. Let's set you up to shock your heart back in rhythm. So another 2 weeks later, or 3 weeks later, whenever I went in, they put me to sleep. They went down my throat. And before that, they did some pretty detailed photos of my heart. But the day of the surgery, they went in, they go down into your esophagus so that they can look at your heart to see if it has any blood clots in it before they shock you. So they went in there, did that, didn't have any blood clots. They shocked me. This is all while I'm asleep, by the way. I woke up. They said, you're good to go. Your heart's back in rhythm. So anyway, I went home. The only after effect I had was the burn mark. When you get paddle shocked, there's a burn mark that's probably about 3 or 4 inches wide by maybe 6 inches long. It's a paddle burn. It's like a burn from a fire or something very hot. You have to put cortisone on it when you get through, because it's rough sleeping with a burn like that. This one was on my back. So anyway, I healed from that. Everything was going fine. 2 weeks later, I checked my heart count, and I noticed it was up again. And by then, I had already bought what is this? This is went on eBay, bought this cardio little machine that hooks up to my iPad, and it tells me if I got A-fib. And sure enough, A-fib came back that quickly. 2 weeks later. So anyway, I called the doctor, and he said, well, we can put you on this medicine. This medicine's stronger. We have to check you every month after you get on this medicine for side effects. It can affect your kidney and your liver and I'm just, oh my gosh, do I really want to get on something forever like that? So I said, what other alternative do I have? He said, well, I can refer you to this other doctor that's in our practice. This was in St. Thomas Hospital, Nashville. Great doctor. I really liked him, Dr. Thompson. Anyway, I went to see him. He talked to me about ablation, going in and actually changing the signals in my heart so that my heart will go back into rhythm. I chose to do that option. I'm not afraid of pain. I had some pain in my past, but I can deal with it if the outcome is better. So I got all set up to go in to have this ablation, I guess you call it. Anyway, I went into had to go in 6 o'clock in the morning. They did the surgery at 8 o'clock. All the nurses come in there, they prep you, they shave the areas where they're going to do the surgery right there in my right. They shave both sides of your growing area right there in your crease. I guess so that won't impede anything. And then where they paddle you, where they shock you again, they'll shave the front and the back. Luckily, I really don't have a lot of hair on my chest, which was good for me, but anyway, shave you. So they take you in, went into this high-tech emergency room, had a screen in there. It looked like a big screen TV. And I thought, God, this is pretty nice. She said, yeah, that's new to the operating room. She said the doctor can see finite details on that screen of your heart when he does the operation. So they was very good to me in the operating room, very kind. I said a prayer, asked God to be with me and guide the doctor's hands as he did the surgery. Shortly after that, they gave me a shot, knocked me out. They actually put a lung machine on you. They run this down your throat. They breathe for you while you're in the operating room. They tie you down. But they tell you the reason for all this stuff. They tie you down so that you won't move your arms while you're asleep. They use the lung machine on you while you're having this treatment so that you won't gasp for air. You won't do something that will cause a flinch in your body while the doctor's doing his ablation. Ablation is a burn, basically, what I understand. And he burns little areas around your heart to change the signals or stop the signals that are not good. So anyway, they did that. Doctor did his thing. I woke up. They, 3 hours later, very groggy. Oh my gosh, it's like you're coming out of a dream. But you come out of that dream pretty quickly once you wake up. Probably within 30 minutes, you're back to focusing and kind of catching what's going on in the room. They, cleaned me up, let me, made sure I was woke up good. Went home. We were probably home we went in there at 6 o'clock a.m. in the morning. We were leaving by 3 is when they told me we could go home. Got all dressed, took off, went home. My wife was driving. They told me I couldn't drive. Got home. First night, everything's fine. I did have to put some cortisone 10 on those burns. I did have another burn mark on my back. They actually shock your heart midstream through the operation. He did this to make sure that his ablation works. He'll shock you, and if if the ablation don't work, he'll go back in and do another area. He said that my area was my surgery went well, went good. First shock did it. So I'm just several days into just the recovery part of it. You know, for 3 days they tell you not to lift anything because you've had your, you know, a hole in your vein and you're growing. So only issue I got is a pretty good bruise down there. I think I have the bruise not from the surgery, but from where the nurse, before I went home, pressed out some blood that was underneath the skin. That hurt more than anything else, honestly. So anyway, I'm day 3. I wanted to show you how bruised my leg is. It's pretty bruised, but my sister's a nurse, and she said that's kind of the way it looks. She says it's yellow, but as you see, it's a pretty good bruise. That's my leg, you know, beside my undies. It's a pretty good bruise on my leg, but that's going away. And my burn mark from the paddles is going away too. 3 days of cortisone and some aloe vera gel really helps cool it, makes it go away. So that's my experience with it. I've got this little guy here that checks my A-fib. I've got a little heartbeat tester, oxygen sensor is what that is. And you know, my heartbeat was at 95 to 105 to 110 a minute, even resting. So now it's back down to 65 to 75. But I did find out one of my triggers. You need to know if you have one of these. It just didn't occur to me. I mean, I could have probably stopped this before it ever happened. But I'm not a regular drinker like some folks. You know, some people drink a lot of beer and whiskey and all that stuff. I just never have done that. But randomly, when we go to a Mexican restaurant, I'll get a margarita. And never more than one. One's fine. But I seem to have a reaction to that. I told my wife, you know, I'll check my blood pressure when we get back from the Mexican restaurant, and that my heart count would run up to 100 on that, I guess it's tequila, the alcohol that's in there. And it would do it every time. So I figured out if it's doing that, if it's making my heart race, it could be a trigger to this A-fib issue. So guess what? No more. I didn't drink much anyway, and now I'm not drinking. 0, none. I'm not going to go through that situation again, hopefully. But try to keep your stress level down. If you drink, get out. Don't do the alcohol. It's not good for you anyway, so just get off of it. And I hope you have a good, if you got A-fib and you're going through this, you know, I hope this helped you in some way. Be blessed. I tell people I had 2 good things going for me. I had a good doctor and a good God. The doctor was a Christian. That made a big difference for me. So anyway, be blessed. Bye.